Hello and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if this is the first time you are joining me. I don't know yet what this video is titled, but today I wanted to talk a little bit about witchy burnout or disconnection or a slump, or I don't know what you want to call it. I have some notes on my iPad, so I will be looking at that occasionally, but maybe this is just mainly this is just me chatting at the camera kind of video. And the reason I wanted to do this was kind of twofold. So I have been going through a massive feeling of burnout, disconnection, slump, whatever. And I'm kind of working through that right now, and talking about those things are useful, I think, for me personally to process. So if this gets really, really real, sorry in advance for anybody who's not comfortable with that. But also, I think there are many people who find their spiritual path and they figure it all out very early on, and it remains with them for the rest of their lives, and it provides them with joy in the good times and comfort and support in the bad times, and there's never any doubt or disconnection, or it does what spirituality is for the most part designed to do, right? And I think for a lot of people that is the case, and I would love to believe that that is the case for everybody. I think that is the ideal, but I know that it isn't the case for me, and I am sure that I'm not alone in that. And so for people who have never experienced that before and might be experiencing that for the first time, I just wanted to put this out there to tell people you're not alone. It happens to all of us. Obviously it doesn't happen to all of us, because I've just gone into an explanation on why it doesn't, but it happens to some of us. It's not like nothing that happens to you, I think, is really as unique as you think it is when you're going through it. And I just want to talk about what I'm doing and what I've done before to overcome that, to maybe help you if you're going through something similar, or if you do go through something similar in the future. So it's been like maybe at least 18 months, I think, maybe not that long. No, not even a year. God, it feels longer. Since I've really started to feel this, and no, maybe 18 months. And I think there's a number of different reasons why that might be. I think that firstly, I just have a really busy life. I have a very busy job. I run a department in a nationwide company, and a small nationwide company, but still, it's a very high pressured, very busy job. There is only 2 of us in my department doing the work of at least 4 people. And so that takes up a lot of my time and my energy and my space, like emotional space. And then also I am in my 4th year of a bachelor's degree, part-time bachelor's degree in psychology, which you're expected to put in at least 16 to 20 hours a week on top of a 40-hour a week working job, which is a lot. And also I am coming up to my 3rd year, well, it will be 3 years in June, of learning a language, learning Korean, which again takes up time, and I have to prioritize and make time for. And that, Korean and the bachelor's degree are choices, but they're choices that I've made of things that I have to prioritize, and they're all things that are very cerebral, in your head kind of stuff. And spirituality, for the most part, is not quite so cerebral for most of us, although there are aspects of my spirituality that are quite cerebral. So there's that. There's also, I've had just so much emotional upheaval this year. The positive, I bought my home, which is a positive, but it was stressful, and it's something I was doing completely by myself because I live alone. I don't have a partner to help share that stress and responsibility. So it was stressful, It all went through fine and it's great, but it's a lot emotionally. My closest friend in the whole world passed away in May last year. And we were very close. We were both, he was a lot older than I was, but we were both single people. His wife had passed away before I met him. And for 13 years, 12, 13 years of my life, he's been this huge constant. We met through spirituality, through pagan circles. We holidayed together. We went out once a week, at least once a week, for meals together. We often went for breakfasts together, which I am aware is a meal, but in addition to going for evening meals together, we often went to breakfast together. We had the same friends, so we socialised in the same places. We went to events together. We went to monthly meetups together. Like, he came to my house and we did takeaways and movies, and he was this huge part of my life for the last 13 years, and suddenly he wasn't there anymore. And that is really difficult to adjust to and to live with, because my life is different. Just all of a sudden my life is completely different. And then excuse me, and then I also lost a pet last year. So one of my cats died, and it was very quick. She was fine, and then all of a sudden she wasn't breathing properly, and literally within the space of a week she seemed to have a cold. I took her to the vet twice in that week, and by the end of that week they were telling me that she had basically this huge mass in her throat, tumour in her throat, which had just, I don't know, come out of nowhere, and I had to have her put down, and it was very, very sudden. And then I have had a family member. We lost a family member recently. And I've had friends who have had some very close friends who in this last year have had some very significant losses of their own. And so from an emotional perspective, there's just been a lot of grief, my own, and allowing space for other people's. So there's been that. And then the world itself is just a huge dumpster fire right now. And it's overwhelming, and it's distressing, and there's a lot going on that is very hard to process and very hard to deal with emotionally. And so with all of those things combined, you would think it would be the perfect time to lean into spirituality, but it just left me with nothing. I had nothing left to give. So I have, for a long time, I was just numb. I was just numb and disconnected, and was just like, some days it's just a struggle to just get up and get on, right? So there was, it just, for a long time, it wasn't something that I was focused on. And then in the last month or so, I have really started to notice the absence of it in my life. And for me, that's a sign that I'm ready to do something about it and to fix it, if you like. And so how I'm doing that, and this is really what I want to talk about in this video, is how I'm doing that. So what do I do when I find myself in this kind of spiritual meh? So the first thing that I do is that I remind myself that this is not a new experience for me, and that slumps have been a part of my journey for the last 24, 25 years. There's a period where I'm massively invested, and I have a practice, a daily practice, a weekly practice, monthly practices, all of the things that are really working for me, and I'm really invested in the divination stuff that I do, and I'm really invested in the psycho-spiritual stuff that I do, and I'm really invested in spell work, and I'm really invested in my community and all of those kind of things. And I have periods where that is the case, and then I have periods where that all seems to take a step back, and I go through this period of not really knowing what I'm doing. Or not really connecting, not really, like, things slowly starting to drop off. Like I stopped doing regular stuff on the moons, and then I stopped doing my own Sabbath stuff, and then I stop communicating with my deities, and and slowly things start to break down, and I go through a bit of a slump, and I am aware that this happens. And so that is something that I remind myself of, because I've been here before, I'll probably be here again, and ultimately I know it's not forever, and I'm not broken. Like, it's not broken, it's just not where I want to be right now. And I also find a lot of the time that when I get to this point as a postman, it's because something, here's the postman, darling, the dog is right here. It's because something, it just isn't serving me any longer. My path is there's something about what I'm doing, or my current path that I'm walking, or my current practice, that is no longer serving me in the way that it was previously, and that it's time for me to look at that and to make some changes. And so that also is a big part of that process that I have to go through. Something else that I do, which I do anyway, and is also part of my spiritual practice, is I journal. I journal. And for me, often these are the first two things I do. So I remind myself that this is not new, and then I journal about it until I have literally no thoughts left. I journal about it, not just once and done, but I consistently come back to journaling about, this is what's happening, and this is how I feel, and these are the things that are going on, and this is where I am right now, and this is what I want to be doing, and this is blah blah. And it's just like journal all my thoughts and my feelings, and like get it all out onto paper and out of me. So I do a lot of that. I connect with community in a number of different ways. So I, in my real life community, I make sure that I regularly attend the monthly meetups, and engage in conversations with people, spiritual conversations with people about different things. I attend as many local events as it is within my power to do so, including like open rituals and fairs, and just whatever is going on that is within my power to get to. And I also have a local group of very close friends. There is 5 of us, and we get together for each of the Sabbats, and we do a ritual together, and I make sure that I attend all of those, and that I continue to stay in connection with those people. Online, or not just online, but away from like my in-person community, I read a lot. So I dig out a lot of old favourite witchcraft and paganism books, stuff that I have gone back to regularly throughout my journey. I also have new books that have come to me either because somebody has bought them for me, or I've sourced them myself, or because I have been given them for whatever reason. I might have just said that. Did I just say that? I don't know. Anyway, so new books that for one reason or another I have access to, I read a lot of those, and I take ideas and I allow them to just percolate and spark whatever. And I watch a lot of YouTube videos. I go back into connecting with the witchy community on YouTube, and I find new people to subscribe to, and I don't even have like any kind of set idea of the type of content that I'm looking for. It's not like at this stage I'm going, I really want to learn about, well, I am now, but in the beginning of that journey of reconnection, it's not I really want to learn about X, Y, Z. It's more of I just want to feel connected to a sense of community and spiritual practice in some way. So I watch whatever is available, and by reading those books and watching those videos and engaging in those monthly conversations with people, it starts to fire something in me that makes me go, oh, I really want to learn more about this, or I really want to try this thing that I've never experienced before, or I wonder if I took this out of my practice and added this in instead, would that be the thing that I was looking for that would change everything and re-spark the, you know, the daily, monthly, weekly, whatever practices that I am desperately missing. So there's that. And then in terms of actual practice, well, not in terms of actual practice, but in terms of rebuilding those foundations, I do very much start with going back to basics. And that means that I spend time on, what do I believe in? Does it still match what I believed in before? What does my spiritual cosmology look like? How does all of that inform my spiritual practice? Like, I just really dig into that kind of stuff. And also I go back to basics in that my routine right now is just a very simple routine of grounding, centering, aligning the three selves, and a chant for Hecate as a way to connect with her and to start my day. I do that fairly regularly. I try and do that every morning, but I'm a bit shit about routines and habits, so it's not every morning. I also just spend time at my altar where I just light a candle. I've got a Hecate candle. I light my candle and I talk to Hecate, and I have a deck of cards that I use to communicate with her. So I draw some cards, or I play some music that helps encourage that spiritual connection, or I sing. I'm not a great singer, but you know, I sing along to stuff, or you know, I just do whatever I feel moved to do in the moment. And the biggest thing I think that I do or don't do, conversely, is that I don't put any pressure on myself. I recognize that life is hard sometimes, and spiritual connection and spirituality should not be something that makes me feel pressured or guilty or shame because I'm not in a position where I'm able to invest in it at the level that I would want to, and that sometimes it's okay to just take that step back and concentrate on other things. And so all of those things combined, I find really helpful. The other thing that I would like to do, and I think I would find helpful, but I'm just not sure yet what that would look like, is make more YouTube videos and just talk about the things that I'm reading about, or the things that I'm currently doing, or you know, the thoughts that I'm having. I want to do more of that, but I need to really think about what that would look like, because I'm not really sure. So that was really all I wanted to say. I hope that for some people this has been helpful, or given them some kind of, I don't know, ideas, or even just a feeling of validation if they too are finding themselves in that kind of space. Thank you very much for sticking with me, and I will see you all very shortly for another one. Take care, everyone, and lots of love. Bye-bye.